Hey, and welcome back. So, today I'm going to explain the process of creating eye-catching descriptions on Amazon. This means I'm going to go through the steps with you and explain why we do it this way, how you can do it, and the free tools that we use to make sure that it will always look good. Making an Amazon description doesn't require knowledge of HTML. There are tools out there to both preview them and code them. And I'm going to show you how to do that and the process that I go through when I make descriptions for books. So keep on watching, and hopefully you can learn to make your descriptions work hard and pull in the sales for you the way that we do with all of ours. So something you're going to want to keep in mind with your description is that it can either make or break your sale. You can have great content, be in a fantastic niche, and have an awesome cover. But if your description doesn't grab somebody's attention from the point of just browsing to hitting read more, then you're not going to make that sale. Obviously, there's circumstances where somebody may still buy the book, but 9 times out of 10, this description is either going to pull their attention in or have them just gloss over it. So I'm going to show you a couple examples of descriptions that we have out currently, and that is like our book here, Greenhouse Gardening. As you can see, when you go to read less, let's show you. It starts off with a question, something that is relevant to the book, something that will grab their attention. In this case, it's, have you ever thought about growing your garden year-round? You know, in the niche of greenhouse gardening, that is going to be something that potential readers might be thinking about. You know, you don't want to go with something that is, obviously you don't want to go with something off topic, but this here might pull their attention. You know, maybe you don't live in the right climate for that, but you've wondered how you can get around it. These are going to be questions that maybe they're thinking, and if you catch their attention, they're going to want to hit read more. You know, if this sounds like you, then keep reading. Here you're going to demonstrate your knowledge on the topic, things to make them trust you as a writer or as a publisher. So they're going to keep going, and then here you're going to want to give them information. Put some good specific catching bullet points and promise more. Here you're going to want to put like an if or then. In this case, we don't have one, but maybe it would be if you're interested in starting a garden in a greenhouse, then this is the book for you. In this one, it is that sort of statement is taken place by, you will be able to see the wonderful benefits that you gain from a greenhouse. You will hopefully be convinced to start growing your own from home. I'll show you another one. We have this book here with Kara Bryans. Again, start with a nice, big, bold question, something that'll catch their attention. Keep them reading. Demonstrate value and knowledge. Gain trust. But again, you're still going to want them to understand. You're still pulling keywords and things that are relevant to your audience for this book. Good specific bullet points. Here we go. Again, you're demonstrating value, making sure that they know that this is the book that they want. And then here you have, if you're tired of wasting your time on dead ends and ready to find someone to settle down with, it doesn't matter if you've tried 100 times. So in this case, the then is implied. So if then it doesn't matter if you've tried 100 times or you're just getting started. Success is within your grasp. Dating doesn't have to feel hard or frustrating anymore, and you can learn how. So again, you have the if, and then the then is implied, so it doesn't have to be a direct if or then. Now let me show you one that is a direct real quick. And then this book here. So again, you start with your big question, demonstrate value, knowledge, gain trust. You want your readers to feel like you know what you're talking about, because why would they waste their money? Specific bullet points, things that they will see in the book. And I'll explain the process to this as well. And then, like I said, if you're ready to take control and learn what self-discipline can do for bettering your life, then look no further. And then the last thing that I haven't really covered yet is end it on a call to action. And I did this in all of them, but it's essentially calling them to scroll up and hit buy now to get started today. Sometimes you can word it a little differently. Scroll up, hit buy now to take control. Let's see. Hit buy now to get started and get started today. See? And it works because at this point they've read the whole description and they're like, I am interested. It's just reminding them, okay, scroll up, let's get started on this. And then as you can see, I do have certain things bolded. I have words larger than others. That is to call attention to certain points. Like, it can feel great to land that first date, because that is something that I feel that will resonate with this audience. Or no matter your situation, your skill set, or comfort zone, you have some very real options that you can make use of. Just making sure that they know that this book is for everyone, because in this case, gardening can be a daunting task to get started on. And I want the reader to feel like I have the knowledge for them, for a new gardener, or, it's still something that a more experienced gardener can get value from. Then with building self-discipline, having self-discipline will help you achieve all of your goals, no matter how big or small they are. It's just making a claim that will resonate with this audience. Never before has there been a book so gentle in its approach and so effective at helping people to change their lives for the better. Something that maybe you don't want a book that's going to be difficult to get through. You want something that will kindly create a better environment for you to become self-disciplined. Okay, so this is a side-by-side of the outline, more or less, that I work with on every book description and a live book description. I'm going to use that self-discipline book again because it is probably the closest of our newest books to this outline, so I can just show you step by step. So first we have our hook/question. That is going to be right here. Are you looking to improve your level of self-discipline? This is specific to our audience. It is a question that we hope that the person that is reading this book would be asking themselves. If you're looking up a book on self-discipline, you would like to improve your self-discipline. Next is going to be further questions, and these are right here, and they are still good questions. You don't want to put stuff that's irrelevant or not as compelling, but it may not be quite as compelling as the first one. So in this case, it's, do you struggle with staying on task? Do you want to build better habits and wonder what the best way is to do that? Do you have goals but don't know how to achieve them? Have you been searching for a resource to help you get the most out of your life? So again, these are good questions. Maybe they're not as eye-catching as the big bold one, because the big bold one's going to be a general question to reel in as many readers as possible. So these further questions are going to be to narrow down your readers, to make sure that the person that keeps reading is interested and attuned to exactly what you want out of your reader, because the closer you get to that reader profile, the better luck you'll have on making a sale. So with the last one, I'm kind of bleeding into the next, into number 4, which is demonstrating value, where it's, have you been searching for a resource to help you get the most out of your life? Now, this is a very general question, not necessarily specific to self-discipline, but you want to demonstrate that you understand that your reader is looking for something, and this can be it. You don't have to follow that specifically, but this is sort of just another like push question to make them go, okay, I'm interested in what else you have to say. The next is going to be a keep reading statement. Now, in this case, if this sounds like you, keep reading. Now, I did it very specifically like that because I'm building a profile of my reader. Other options would be if you said yes to any of these questions, keep on, or the answers to these questions and more down below. Just something to make them go, okay, click on the read more and show the rest of the description. And that's it for the beginning half. Depending on how long your questions are, how big your text is, sometimes it'll be all of this will be above the read more. In this case, it cuts about here. Ideally, it would cut underneath your keep reading statement. So you can even just do 2 questions just to make sure it's above. But in this case, I actually had questions that I know work for this niche. So keeping going, you have demonstrate value, build trust. So in this case, you want the reader to feel like they're getting a book that is full of value. Obviously, you want them to feel like, yes, I trust this writer to give me the information that I want. I'm assuring them that this is a book that can help them. It is a resource rather than just a book. It is something full of value and knowledge that they can get something out of. You know, self-discipline is not something that it is something that can be learned and taught, not something that you are born with. You know, making them feel validated that they don't have it. It's not an innate skill. It's something you have to learn. If you can demonstrate your knowledge on your topic, that will help you so much, even if you're not giving away the secrets of the book, because obviously you still want them to buy the book. You want them to feel like you know what you're talking about. You know, you're going to use phrases within your niche. You're going to use the language that they would also be using. If you're doing a book on greenhouse gardening, you're going to use the language of that hobby. You're going to talk about the gardening, about urban gardening, about small space gardening, and anything else on that. Now, this is, I did bold in the middle of this just to sort of call attention to a step-by-step process for achieving a higher level of self-discipline. If you feel like the middle of a sentence is worth reading or is an especially good point, bold it. You know, draw their eyes to that because it's going to keep them moving down, you know, especially because, you know, this is bold and none of this is, but this is bold. So they want to get to this point, and then you keep going, and then you got some big words. It's really just about guiding your reader's eyes through an experience. The next part is going to be our bullet points, and those are these right here. Now this one has a good amount of bullet points. If you're working on a bundle or you don't have as many bullet points, don't be daunted by this list. I had quite a bit that I could work with this book, but most of our descriptions have anywhere from 5 bullet points to 10 bullet points. This one has 12, I believe. So in this case, there's only really one thing I want to point out on these is that I've bolded bits and pieces of each bullet point. The reason that I do that is to pull attention to the most important part within a sentence. And if you feel like an entire sentence is the most important part, go ahead. You see I did that right here. So in this, what building good habits has to do with self-discipline. and how to recognize the good from the bad. So you want them to focus on, in this case, good habit building, which is something that is pivotal to building self-discipline. And then how to recognize the good from the bad. Again, this is building on that same building good habits. You want to be able to know good habits from bad habits. 10 healthy habits you can start building right now. In this case, you could go either way. First of all, this sentence is great because you are giving them something concrete. It is 10 healthy habits you can begin building right now. I only bolded right now. In this case, the only reason I did that is because I wanted to bold the entire sentence below. I could have moved the bullet points around, but in this case, I want them to know that this is, 10 healthy habits, but right now, you can start this immediately. Make them know that this book is actionable. Now, for each of the bullet points, I've done more or less the same thing. You're going to probably just go with your gut on what feels important, so I'm not going to go through every single bullet point, just for sake of brevity. And then I always put and much more, or and more plus more. Just let them know that this isn't all for the book. There is more to the book. This is just sort of like a preview. And we're going to go down. Next, we're going to be connecting with our audience. When you connect with your audience, you want to make them, again, this is sort of just building on number 4, which is to build trust. This is sort of to connect with them and make them feel like they want to read your book. They want to know what you're thinking. Make them feel like you are a good teacher, an understanding teacher, somebody who is there to help them. In this case, you're kind of showing things that you understand. Things you want to achieve don't have to be huge goals like building your own billion-dollar company, but you can use it to start achieving some little things that you want in life, like quitting smoking, eating healthier, or completing a personal project that's important to you. This is letting them know that these aren't lofty goals. This is a book for everyone. I understand as the writer that self-discipline doesn't have to be creating something huge. It can be just the day-to-day. It makes the book a bit more accessible to the average reader. And then the next thing I do is an if and then statement. In this case, we are actually looking at a very good example of an exact if and then statement. If you are ready to take control and learn what self-discipline can do for bettering your life, then look no further. So in this case, you are looking for an if common problem. So if, and then you would put like a common problem of the reader. So in this case, taking control and learning self-discipline is the common problem that you want your reader to fit the profile of. And then you have then, which is a solution. So if should be more like if something like this. So in this case, it is if you want to take control, then look no further. And then the last thing I do is a call to action. That is super simple. You can do it any way that works best for you, but for the most part, when I do my descriptions, they fall into a single category because I want to call them to buy the book, which is genuinely one of the easiest ways that you can do this. You are going to scroll up and hit buy now. That's it. At this point, you've already hooked your reader into reading the entire description, and you just want to get them to scroll up and complete the sale. This is the converting statement right here, and all of these descriptions essentially fall into the same exact category. Scroll up and hit buy now to get started. Get started today. Start your journey. Don't waste another minute is a good one. Success is within your grasp. Scroll up and hit buy now. You could always put something like that. And for the most part, every single one of my descriptions are going to fall within this 8 step parameter. Now I'm going to show you here. This is a direct before and after. I've gone ahead and done this process with a description. As you can see, this is the before. This is what we got from our ghostwriter when we do get book descriptions from them. I didn't like this description as it was. It is too much text. It's not broken up. This is going to turn off a reader from wanting to continue on. Now, it may seem silly, but you have to consider that the average Amazon customer is not going to want to read these giant, walls of text, you know? And then when you go a bit further, you've got these bullet points, which are not necessarily bad bullet points, but they're not specific. They don't really call attention to them. I mean, obviously you could use these and bold them, but you want bullet points that set your book apart, and these really don't do that for me. And you're going to go a little bit further, and down at the bottom, you do kind of have a call to action, but not really. It's not organized in a way that, the brain processes this information and you're not guiding your reader through anything. It's just sort of like, here's all the information. I hope you want to read it all, which really isn't going to convert any sales. And then as you see, I have our current live version of the description here. And my outline. If you go through, you see I have a hook. That's going to be this right here. I have my further questions here. Keep reading. This is the part where we are demonstrating value or building trust with our audience. I have my bullet points here. A little bit more connecting with my audience here. I do say the author's name. I talk through very specific things that I feel will connect with my audience. This one does not have a specific if or then statement, but it does sort of allude to one in both that paragraph and the line below. Your body deserves this. You'll be thanking yourself for taking that first big step. You could always put something, in this case, maybe... if you're ready to take that first big step and give your body and mind what it deserves, then this book is for you. Or if you're tired of feeling overwhelmed and you're ready to take control, then this book is for you. Or then look no further. It can be really anything. What works for your book might not work for this book, and obviously every niche is going to be a little bit different. You want to specifically address a problem that you feel that your reader will have, and go ahead and say, then this book is for you, or then look no further. Now, here you don't see a call to action. You do see it on the Amazon page. This was the final copy that I gave the designer, and I don't want them to print, then scroll up, but it would be something as easy as scroll up and buy now to get started today. Okay, so the very last thing we do is we'll take this mostly formatted description and we're going to pop it into this website called html-online.com. Totally free service. It will input the tags on the HTML into your description so that you don't really need to learn coding. You don't need to do anything. Once you put in all your tags, you are going to get a final product, and it will show you an immediate preview of what it should look like on Amazon. And instead of going through every single option that we usually do, all I want you to keep in mind is bold the things that should be bolded. Pull attention to the lines and words that you feel need attention. Play around with it, because the tools are going to be very stylized to how you want it to look. And then at the end, you're just going to go ahead and hit clean up, which I've highlighted, and it'll give you a final product. And then finally, like I said, this is our final product. You know, with that coding, it did go ahead and code it exactly the way I wanted it to. Sometimes it'll space it out a little bit. You can just go ahead and resubmit it once it's live. But I'm happy with how this came out. The only other thing I want to check is the paperback correct? Yes, it is. And that's it. And if there's any issue, any desync, you just go ahead, resubmit it once it's live. Not a big deal. Takes less than a day to show up and you're done. All right, guys, thank you so much for making it through this video with me. I'm so glad you took the time to get to know this process because honestly, it can really make a difference. You know, if your book description is not selling, this can be the reason why. You can convert more sales with a description that really catches your audience's eye, and hopefully you feel well equipped. And if you have any questions or anything you need sort of cleared up, go ahead and pop a comment down below. You know, we're always watching to help you guys out. And if you're interested in more information, we have tons of resources on this page. We've got playlists for passive income, playlists for self-publishing. Give us a subscribe. We're trying to put out videos all week, just so that you guys constantly have new resources out there. I will see you soon, and all right.